Let's see if this works. How's everybody today? Waving hi. Happy faces. Hi, babe. Oh, hi, babe. Let's see. Maybe he's gonna... Oh, hi from Cape Cod. Hi, Polar Cape. Best ice cream. Best ice cream. Let's see. Just waiting for Pete. Hi, Texas. How you guys holding up? Hi, Ohio. Oh, hi, Pam. Hello, hello. Let's see if we can find him here. I don't see a request, but I'm going to request him. Let's see. If anyone from Pete's team can see me. I've requested you. So let's see if it works. Hi, Iran. Hi, friends. Texas is very strong. I'm thinking about one of my friends who has a loved one in a hospital in Texas right now with COVID. So I'm thinking about you, Texas. Where's Pete? Here we go. Let's see if this works. Is this working?
There you are.
Hooray! Oh my gosh, are you in your kitchen?
I am. Yeah, Justin's got it relatively civilized in here, so it's my go-to backdrop. How are you?
Behind you? I'm in my kitchen too, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking some time.
No, absolutely. I'm so excited to talk to you. I imagine you're exhausted. You've been doing God's work on Fox News every single day. So thank you for coming onto our channel to share some of your honesty and wisdom and straightforwardness with us.
Well, thank you, and thanks for lending your voice to this. You know, it's so important as we're heading into obviously the final deciding days that we're all making our voices heard. So I'm so glad that you're part of this effort.
Me too. I would say, you know, after the debate last night, I was so, every time that Joe speaks, and you obviously know Joe personally, I don't. I'm just struck with his kindness, his empathy, how he speaks directly to the American people, how he has such a unifying message, not a divisive message. I just wonder, can you talk a little bit about him as a person, right? Because all we see is the guy that we see on TV. And it's honestly so hard to trust anything now in this environment, which of course has been fostered by, in my opinion, a terrible, terrible, dishonest president. Can you just talk a little bit about the man that you know? Because I feel very strongly in my heart, I have already voted. So I know that I made the right choice, but for those at home, can you just talk a little bit about the man?
Yeah, you know, I wish everybody could spend time in a room with him the way I have. But I also think that, you know, he's the kind of guy that what you see is what you get, right? So there's not a lot of artifice there. And, you know, I think that's part of why it was so powerful. Like you, I was watching last night and I thought when he just said, look, you know the president, you know me. and I think that's true. You know, some of the moments I think about with him are when he was talking not about himself but others. We'd be on backstage at the debate, you know, and debating each other. And some of the candidates are just in the zone, you know, looking down, muttering to themselves, getting their lines ready. He'd be pausing to talk to the stagehands or the people who are bringing a bottle of water because you could tell everybody was equal to him. And he was incredibly gracious. You know, he had every reason not to receive my arrival in the race very kindly. And yet he was as gracious and as quick to strike up a conversation and ask how I was doing early on through the ups and downs of the race, when I was up, when he was up, you know, and at every turn was the exact same person. And he's somebody who's clearly been shaped by life experience, which has been really tough and also full of love and family for him. And, you know, these aren't talking points or bumper sticker things for him. They're, you know, they're just who he is. And I think that's part of what's going to make him a great president over and above the policy issues, you know, just having somebody who has that spirit. Of course, the policy issues are a big deal too. And you know, one of the things on our mind right now with this nomination of Amy Coney Barrett, that really goes against the will of the American people, who by and large believe that the winner of this election ought to choose the next appointee to go onto the bench. But one of the things this has us wondering is about the future of Roe v. Wade and our commitment to women's right to make their own health decisions. And I know you've been outspoken on this, so I'm wondering how you feel that has maybe galvanized or added a new dimension to your involvement in your decision to vote.
It really has. A woman's right to choose, the rights of pregnant people to decide what's right for their body. And I say pregnant people to be sensitive to however people identify. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly moving. It's incredibly personal. And we know that restricting access to abortion doesn't actually restrict the number of abortions that are sought and that happen. It only restricts the number of safe ones that happen. And contrary to, I think you were speaking so eloquently and passionately about it a couple weeks ago, for most people that decide to pursue the termination of a pregnancy, they're already mothers, they're already parents. They know the love of a child and are making such a complicated personal decision, usually very early. And sometimes later, it's because they realize that the health and the safety of that child is not meant to be. And like I think you said a couple weeks ago, they probably already picked out a name. And that's an incredibly tender and personal choice. And so for me, the protection of that, and the idea that there is a woman who stands against that choice for other women just makes me feel so protective over anybody else who would want to make that choice for themselves. And so I worry about that. I worry about overturning gay marriage. I worry about walking back so many other things that this person believes in. And that really, really scares me. And so that's, of course, very galvanizing and a reason that I really care.
Yeah, and you're right. So much is at stake there, and you know, in the LGBTQ community, we're thinking a lot about rights that were so hard won, and how much our lives, but also I think the country, has mm-hmm. become a better place as those rights and protections have been expanded. Mm-hmm. And every time I look at my wedding ring, I'm thinking about the fact that it's there by the grace of a single Supreme Court member, right? That brought us that equality. And whether it's those issues that are coming before the court or the things that Congress is going to have to take up, you know, a pandemic that is now the one of the biggest mass casualty events in the history of the country, an economy that was already not working for way too many Americans before it hit the absolute emergency that this pandemic represents. We've seen so much at stake, and I know that's affecting a lot of people's decisions to vote. But I wonder, as somebody who, you know, you've been so great encouraging people to step forward, encouraging people to vote, including first-time voters maybe, or people who are a little frustrated with the process and wonder if their vote matters. So knowing that you've been listening to and hearing from a lot of people, but what are you hearing is really propelling people to vote? And what do you think are the most compelling things on people's minds as they're deciding to fill in that ballot? Well,
voting the issues are so personal, I think. You know, politics isn't this big scary thing. It's really just people that come together to decide things that affect our everyday life, how the rights that we have, what we have access to, our freedoms. And so mostly the things I'm thinking about are healthcare and COVID and the economy, of course, but mostly healthcare and COVID. that seems to be the most pressing issue right now. Pre-existing conditions. My father has multiple pre-existing conditions. My sister-in-law is disabled and has pre-existing conditions. And the idea that their lives could be in jeopardy because of a decision to overturn something is really scary. And the idea also that we have a lot of friends that have since gotten over and recovered from COVID, but others that are long haulers who are women my age with no pre-existing conditions, who have unexplainable symptoms like racing heart, irregular heartbeats, fatigue, vertigo, exhaustion. And so the idea that people's healthcare could be in jeopardy and their pre-existing conditions, I don't even have words. It's terrifying, and I think that's very, very much a reason to get out there and vote. Also, we all want to get back to real life. I haven't seen my mom in 9 months, but there's a way to do it. And the information on Joe's website about his platform and making enough PPE to give to school teachers like your husband who can go back to their jobs in a safer way, not just saying, okay, well, it's over now, we're rounding the bend, because we clearly aren't. We see the numbers every day and we know we aren't, right? Let's just get back to life. Most people are just gonna be fine. But then there are a lot of young people who also aren't just fine. Right. There are old people that aren't just fine. And there are people, and everyone deserves the right to live. So I think those are a lot of the reasons that I'm hearing that people want to vote. Yeah.
And it is so personal, right? They talk about it like it's a horse race or it's a game sometimes, but these are our lives, our neighborhoods, our marriages, our workplace, our jobs, and it doesn't have to be like this. I think a lot of folks are saying, well, the pandemic's all over the world, and it is. But these kinds of numbers are not all over the world. There's no other developed country in the world that's seeing the level of harm that's happening here. And we all want to get back to normal life, which can only happen if we actually get some better results. I know we're coming up on time, but I'd love to know just what propelled you to decide to be involved. You didn't have to be this outspoken politically. What was it like deciding to take that step?
For me, right after Trump won the presidency, I started receiving an incredible amount of hate against me on Twitter because I'm Jewish, anti-Semitic and threats. And that's the rise in hate crimes targeting my community, and the lack of unity, the lack of calling that out for what it is. The lying and the letting it slide and secretly stoking that fire has been really scary and disgusting. My Asian American friends who are receiving similar kind of threats, death threats, and just general nastiness and grossness due to Trump's rhetoric about COVID is I just can't stand for it. So there are so many reasons from protecting my family, protecting my friends who have COVID, protecting, pre-existing condition, women's rights, equal pay. There are so many reasons why I wanted to be involved. And of course, a lot of the comments, even on this chat right now, are positive, and some of them are vicious. And I welcome everything that's constructive. And I think for me, what's most exciting is the unifying of the Biden campaign message there, and how we've seen Democrats on every level of the spectrum really kind of come together and unify in a way to win, and to win together, and to know that we have to make sacrifices, and maybe our candidate doesn't stand for every single thing that we believe in, but the empathy and the character of the people that are on the ticket. I trust Joe Biden to make decisions on behalf of me and my family and my friends and my future children and our future children to protect us and to do what's right for our country. So I'm incredibly excited. I already voted. I voted.
Good. I was going to ask you about your voting plan. So you already got your vote in. Terrific.
I voted.
How was the process for you?
On the ballot tracker, so I know it got accepted and it got counted. My husband is voting in person. I'm still working on my father, who may not vote. I don't think he's ever voted, but I was still texting about it.
Keep pushing. We need every vote.
I am working on it. I'm working every vote. So I think we can ask people to text WIN, W-I-N, to 30330. That's the word WIN, to 30330 to join the campaign. And also check your registration and make a plan to vote at iwill.com.
Great note to end on, because everybody needs to make a plan, and voting season's underway. In most places, you could vote today or tomorrow. And I think of Election Day not as the day of the election. I think of it as the end of the election. It's the end of voting season. The sooner the better, and that's the last day to get it in. Well, thanks so much for a chance to join you. And I think we're going to have a lot to celebrate in a couple of weeks and start moving things in the right direction. But we know we've got to work for it. And so I'm so glad that you're part of the cause.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you changing the world as much as you are every day for a long time to come. Thank you so much.
Great.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Everybody stay safe. Bye.